This is Andrew Klavan on The Culture. Hey ho, it's those lazy, hazy, crazy, hazy days of Obama's recovery summer. I don't know about you, but now that I don't have to worry about going to a boring old job anymore, I just love to lie out in the empty field where my house used to be and gaze up at the government stars and consider the bad old days of the George W. Bush administration and how much life has improved in this wholly owned subsidiary of Washington, D.C. that I like to call America. Remember back at the end of Bush's first term when the unemployment rate had risen slightly to around 5.6%? Boy, oh boy, that was just like the Great Depression, wasn't it? Dan Rather told us so on CBS TV, saying it's the first net job loss on a president's watch since Herbert Hoover during the Great Depression. The Washington Post saw another angle and compared Bush to Herbert Hoover during the Great Depression, whereas the New York Times took a different tack and compared Bush to Herbert Hoover during the Great Depression. Whoa, I'm glad those depressing Hoovery days are over. Now, hurrah! It's those sunny, funny, I'm out of work, honey, days of Obama's recovery summer. Our president has taken the bold move of plunging us into crippling generational debt with a stimulus plan he promised would keep unemployment below 8%, which it hasn't. Which is good news. CBS and NBC celebrated the plan, saying it had saved or created up to 1.8 million jobs, while ABC said it was as many as 2.4 million jobs. And those weren't just ordinary jobs either, where you have to work for pay. Those were imaginary jobs, so think of the money we saved on clothes and transportation. Good times, my friend, good times. That's the economy. Then there's the war. Back in the horrible Bush years, that idiot W refused to heed then Senator Obama and Senator Harry Reid when they wisely told him the war in Iraq couldn't be won. Instead, he appointed General David Petraeus to carry out the strategy of a surge in troops. Man, didn't we feel bad when Tom Brokaw on NBC said that would seem to most people like folly, and when reporter Lara Logan on CBS implied it would make no difference, and when both NBC's David Gregory and ABC's Diane Sawyer packed their stories with critics of the surge, so we were well informed about what a disaster it was going to be. Well, whoopee! Now it's those happy, slappy, incredibly crappy days of Obama's recovery summer. And with the war in Afghanistan deteriorating, Obama has avoided the terrible Bush mistake of appointing General Petraeus to oversee a surge in troops, and has instead appointed General Petraeus to oversee a surge in troops. Much better, right, media?
A very brilliant move.
Brilliant decision.
Brilliant choice by the president.
Sure it is. Also, during that rotten Bush era, we had an administration racked by scandal, as both Bush and Vice President Cheney were deeply uninvolved in exposing the non-secret work of Valerie Plame. Bush went around claiming that our intelligence said there were WMD in Iraq just because it did. And of course, don't forget the scandalous passage of that hideous Patriot Act, which resulted in the violation of the rights of as many as 0 Americans. Now, yahoo! It's those roaring, soaring, Constitution-ignoring days of Obama's recovery summer. The president's appointments of radicals and tax cheats, his corruption of the Justice Department, and oh yeah, the renewal of the Patriot Act have all been greeted by the summery sound of mainstream media crickets. Much more relaxing, so kick back and enjoy Obama's recovery summer. It's not going to get any better than this. The wealth of information on this video was redistributed from the Media Research Center website at mrc.org. They're excellent. Check them out. This is Andrew Klavan on The Culture.